Yep, we back, we back. Another day, another day. Shout out to everybody that comes through, and want to say shout out to the Liveathon, by Dobie, Forever Lisa, and Sheila does a great job with working with Dobie to get everything moving and shaking, and putting this Liveathon together. And it's a good thing. Um, all this week, I'm actually gonna be pounding the pavement about life insurance. I talked about business. I talked about, you know, personally working on yourself. I talked about trying to make choices. But, the thing that I want to hone into because it's Father's Day about people getting affairs in order. You know, um, I don't want to say the person, but basically, you know, someone had a passing in their family. And the biggest thing that uh, they talked about was, having their affairs in order. And with having their affairs in order came to the notion of the man was responsible. The man put things into play to where, honestly, it wasn't no shame or no kind of bad or anything towards this man because, you know, at some point, you're Superman, but even Superman with kryptonite can't live forever. So it came down to a decision where he pretty much ultimately made a choice to where if something ever happens to me, everything is gonna be okay. And I tell people, I talk about me getting about $500,000 of life insurance, soon to be more. But the biggest aspect, some people don't have nothing. And my thing is this: even if you're married, single, for the point being, you still need life insurance. Let's say that you're married. So if something happens to you, we know the whole notion. The man is the protector and the provider. So with that being said, with the men being the protector and the provider, if something happened to that man, that's an interruption in the income in that family. So how can that woman cope and exist for the most part without that man's structure? Because nowadays it takes two. Let's say the least that the guys who make a lot of money and provide their wives with the most gracious point of actually not being able to work. What's going to happen if you pretty much die? This is the guy who pretty much, you know, his wife, she solely responsibly depend on him. She don't work. All she do, cook, clean, provide for the kids, help with business that need to be structured and helped around the house. You know, 24. This is her full time job. Actually, taking care of the kids, making sure her husband is well taken care of. He dies. She he didn't take care of her. Yeah, they got a house, but with no income coming in because he was the sole provider, they're losing the house in the next couple of months. They got to sell. That's the only way they be able to get some money is to sell that house before it go into foreclosure and they take it. Then you would have to look at the structure of this. If she's a stay-at-home mom, he don't leave not one single dime but the money that's in his account. She has to liquidate all the assets, sell the car, most likely go get into an apartment or something until she can find a job and start sustaining life for the family. And then what? It's like that's the bulk of that you know to the point where let's say that they're married, both of them working. The husband pay majority of the bills is what we talk about and throughout the spaces and everything and in the gender argument. So if the husband pay majority of the bills without him being there, that is pretty much a deficit within the family structure. Because if he pays the mortgage, he pays, you know, significant bills, to the extent those significant bills are no longer going to be paid. And to a degree, take it as it is for most of these guys. It's not a shot at the men. It's actually, you know, a point at which you should have an understanding. If you're a dad and, you put things in perspective, you literally, without a doubt, protecting your family by having life insurance. And I always give big ups to Alonzo. Shout out to Alonzo Hall, the All-Star advisor. And I tell people, you know, it's one thing, I had insurance before I dealt with Alonzo and end up getting more. But the point of it is, shouting out to him, he's one of the guys I pretty much talk to a lot on this insurance tip because, like I said, that was the thing. I really want to know what he knows. I don't want to deal with nobody who's just mediocre. And he always clowning Smush Parker in all his videos, and I laugh at that because I really, to be honest, don't even know the guy. I think he played for the Lakers, he said, and the guy was a pretty good basketball player. But to the point being, it's crazy that we want to have this notion of being a man and hold this title, but then with holding the title, heavy is the head that holds the crown. To have that spot, you got to be there 24/7, even after your passing. You got to have your family sustain life, and that's one of the things that I talk about with that life insurance of your family sustaining life. I know it's Father's Day, and we should be getting the praise and everything, and that's one of the things that I'm talking about mainly of that praise. Like I always talk about, to a degree, it's going to be a situation after, I'm gone, that my kids are still going to be happy. They're going to be, not worried to an extent, because even with my wife, she's going to be comfortable. It's not a bad thing to actually have your family prepared. And that's one of the biggest things that I kind of, more or less talk about structuring, is being prepared. And let's go to the single aspect, and women might can, take this for instance too. When it comes down to you being single, you still need life insurance. Who's going to bury you? One of the biggest things that my great grandmother always talked about everybody in the family having life insurance. She was the biggest promoter of it, because she said you don't want to be a burden to anyone in the family. You don't want to be a burden to anyone in the family. So having life insurance protects you, protects your family. If you don't have a family, overall, it protects you. If anything happens to you, you can have family member as a beneficiary to make sure your affairs are being taken care of. I buried my uncle. My uncle had no kids, older cousins. My brother's older than me. I got two brothers that are older than me. Well, I always say one, but it's complicated with that story. But the crazy part is, when it come down to it, I would say about at least 9 cousins or something older than me. And when it came down to it, he picked me to be over his affairs. And I was actually shocked, but at the same time, he told me that, you have a family, and I know you carry yourself a certain way. And I know if anything happened to me, I know you'll do the right thing. And those are his things that he wanted to tell me. because when it come down to it, you want to make sure with you being single and you don't have nobody over your affairs, that you want to have somebody you can trust. I would like to be buried nice, but at the same time, you know, who am I going to trust to be over my affairs if I'm single? Like, I picked the wrong person. They could take the money and just run off, and I'm stuck at the morgue, you know, and I have to get buried by the state. I've known people that had life insurance, but because the policy wasn't rendered to certain people and they didn't really know, the state buried them. So, like I said, just having life insurance is a big thing, in which we have the celebrations now for Father's Day, but the biggest celebration is what you provided for me, now and forever. And I talk about being with my father, how he was in the military. This was one of the biggest, guarantees he gave for us when we were young of his passing, to the point where him being in the military, they paid, up to 18, even up to if I went to college for, support. Take it as like a child support, you, if you would. But, going into that situation, you know, my grandmother who took care of us, she had money for us from the military until we, graduated school and so forth. He had money set aside for us when we turned 18 that we can benefit from, and I was grateful of it. And it was to the point where I didn't go to the military and I wanted some structure for my family when I got a family. And the biggest thing, listening to my grandparents and stuff and talking about life insurance, I said, okay, well, I need to get life insurance early. I let one of my policies lapse and didn't really take it too serious until I got married. Actually, I probably let two policies left and didn't take it really too serious until I got married. That's when I started getting more deep into the life insurance, started figuring things out, and trying to figure out what was the best motive and the best option for me. And, like I said, with me in the process of going through and having kids, that was going to be one of my biggest things of leaving something for my kids. My dad did it for me. Why not do it for my kids? I have to literally, my thought pattern is to be better than my dad at all costs. It's only right. He provided certain things, even though his passing with me being young, everything I learned about him, everything people taught me about him, I got to do better for my kids too. They got to be better than me. I tell my sons, if I drive trucks, you need to own the trucking company. If I went into the nursing field, you need to become a doctor. Or if not, become a doctor, own a facility that runs through patients. Long as your steps are going to greatness, I'm not there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said about the life insurance, being single and having someone that can, be provided over your life insurance, as my uncle did for me, man, I deem it as a great responsibility, because made sure everything was done for him. And man, this was a loving man, you know, to all the, his nieces and nephews and even cousins that he had that were, around their ages. He watched out for all of us, took care of all of us. He didn't have kids, so his thing was to be in our lives, to do stuff. I remember him picking us up, just the whole point of walking around the neighborhood and talking with us when we were kids. As we got older, started getting into our sports, was coming around, congratulating me on, being in the sports, telling me how, he thought highly of me, the way I carried myself when I became a man and when I started having kids and stuff. You know, that was his biggest thing. Was like, man, I really do see the shift in which stepped into your manhood. And I really did appreciate that because, when it comes down to a lot of times people look at, you know, things that's going on in their life, nobody's paying attention. And the least that we think nobody's paying attention, we just doing it to be doing it. You have somebody that'll sit there and recognize all the accomplishments and all the things that you've done and, really be appreciative of it, And when it comes down to it, it just the thing of us having a family member that really shows interest, or not even just family, friends, or anybody just showing interest in, when you don't really think nobody's paying attention, that goes a long way. you know and just like I was saying about the life insurance, having that money there, that structure, to where people, especially your wife and kids, can benefit off of it. It helps. Say you even not married, but you have kids. Just have a structure for those kids to where when they turn 18, when they turn 16, they be able to, be in the process of getting a car. When they turn 18, when they turn 20 some or maybe older, want to buy a house, they be in that process to where they have money for a down payment or a closing cost. You know, and that's like the biggest thing. Like even with my boys, I got them life insurance right now at a young age, to the point where when they get older, they can go in there and withdraw money out of there and do for themselves. I told them I'm gonna pay it up at least about 25. At 25, you should have some type of structure. I told them that's about the time I got married. You know, that's gonna be about the time you should have some type of structure where you be able to start taking over this life insurance for yourself. And man, shout out to Alonzo. With him, we went through this motion of actually getting not a term, but a universal life, to the point where at any given time they can go in there and borrow money out and pay it back. But the thing of it is, that policy can carry on to their family. So it's like a forever it never stops until, pretty much until their timely demise. But then the money goes into the family. Even if they don't have kids, let alone it goes, to one another, to because I have twins that they can, bury one another, or, do certain things for their family and friends, or, whomever they want to leave the money to, you know. And I'm gonna keep pushing this. A lot of us who have insurance, make sure you're constantly updating this stuff. Make sure you're talking to people, telling people you have insurance. Because if you pass and no one knows the insurance company, what's good at having insurance and nobody knows? Say the least. Always remember changing the the beneficiary, just in case if something, there was a tragic situation in the family that someone, had their parents had life insurance, but the parents only had one another. And due to the C-19, they only had one child. And due to C-19, they actually passed within, a day of each other, less than hours. And without none of that stuff being rendered, it's locked up. The money's locked up in probate court, you know. And with probate, all it is a money game, you know, to the point where if certain things aren't in play, they're just gonna drag it to get more money out of the situation. The lawyer's gonna get paid, the courts are gonna get paid. You eventually get your money, but not as of right now. That money is needed right now. So a lot of us gotta have that understanding when you're getting these life insurance. Make sure the beneficiary, is gonna be around. Even to the point, have a backup person. You know, best thing to do is get a trust. Even if you have this policy, let the people know. They can put notes on the file. Contact this person first. If this person isn't available, then contact this person. You know, when it comes down to it, having life insurance, man, is the key to happiness. In my opinion, that's one of the biggest, you know, contributing factors of being a father, is making sure your family and your kids are taken care of after the fact. And it's never too late to get life insurance. Never too late. The older you are, you can get term and you can get a whole life, but it's best to get whole life at a younger age. You know, it's best to get it, in my opinion, universal life. People who have jobs, 401k. I did the live on that, talking about how a 401k plan is nothing compared to a universal life. The same amount of money you put in your 401k, you can actually max it out even more with a universal life insurance. I did the numbers. I think it was $19,000 at the max you can put into your 401k, and they're trying to go up to 26. But you're investing in the S&P 500. You know, why not put that into a universal life insurance every month? And you're getting, anywhere from 5 to 7%. Some of them pay 3%, and it's a guarantee. It's not a decline. You're not losing money. The way the market is, a lot of people are losing money in the stock market right now. And a lot of people are losing money in their 401k. And I just tend to tell people, just do the homework. And shout out to Alonzo. Like I said, he's going to be doing a luncheon talking about this. My whole thing, I was on Mace Tiger channel yesterday, and I was telling them, my channel is mainly trying to be based on people getting their life together, you know, realizing certain goals and things that they want to provide for themselves in life, and mainly to also focus on money. Because the whole gender war topic, it's never gonna be a dull moment with that. We're gonna always find something for us to talk about a woman and something for us to talk about with a man. Let's focus on ourselves, making ourselves better. Let's focus on ourselves getting money. You know, relationships, they come and go. Some relationships last longer than others, but to the point being, focusing on the money, that's one of my big things that I want to, focus on. Is getting people back to the money side. You know, unity, getting people back together. We have family members losing homes because of pride. They don't want to ask nobody for help. They don't want nobody to move into them with them. They rather lose everything, go on the street, then come back and ask people to, be there for them. You should be doing that beforehand. Open this vent up before I make a whole bunch of noise. But when it comes down to it, like, what are the key things that we're going to be working with, in the future for our family? You know, life insurance, you know, getting the getting our affairs in order. I literally listen to Alonzo videos. I have my accordion folder with all my business stuff in there. But then I also have a just a little folder on the side by my bed. It literally has all my information in there. It has my life insurance for me, my life insurance for my boys, my life insurance for my wife. I have my business information on there. I have my crypto information, my password, my email. I have a great password bank. It's called LastPass. One of my guys that I know, he works in the cybersecurity field, and he told me about it. Says great. Keep all his passwords in there. All my wife is need just that one password that'll unlock every password I've ever, unplugged into any website, anything is all on that app, LastPass. So for people that, have a hard time remembering passwords, you have that one key password, and everything else you changed and kind of manipulated goes with LastPass. But like I was saying, man, when it come down to it, all my stuff, Alonzo basically, he just let the structure out to saying, if you sit up there and actually pass or anything, how are people gonna get to your information? You have tons of dollars out here in the streets and everything that people just left out. They don't know. They have a lot of recovery sites that kind of help people find unclaimed money. There's a business I'm about to get into now, looking into it, about people, selling houses and stuff, and you get foreclosed on your house. When they go to sell your house on the auction block, and the taxes that you're supposed to pay for the bank, that's what they get out of it. Anything over than that, that goes to the person. And you find these people, and you can give them their money. But when it comes down to it, like I'm keep pushing this, and like I said, all next week, I keep going back to the same thing. It's like a broken record because people got to understand. Being a father is a big responsibility. Just being a man in general to a point, but being a father is a big responsibility. You know, we got to teach our sons, we got to teach our daughters, the way of the world, what's the right way, the wrong way to do. So sometimes fathers get some grief behind that. Sometimes, to an extent, some women pick bad guys to be fathers. And they gotta accept that. And either they deal with the man or just move on. Belittling and talking about them ain't gonna make the situation no better. So you just have to do what you got to do and move on with it. Because when it comes down to it, we all, what I'm saying, to a certain point, fall short of the glory. But it comes back to what are we gonna do afterwards? How are we gonna fix the situation within the family? How are we gonna fix the situation for our kids? Because that's the one biggest thing. The kids don't really ask to be here. So the least we can do is take care of them. At least we can do is take care of them. You know, no matter if the mom made a mistake or if the dad made a mistake and dealt with the wrong person. And still the weight still falls on the kid. And to an extent, that's why I keep saying about the life insurance. You gotta protect your kids, even if the mom not protected. If something happened to you, you want to make sure your kids, still can maintain life. You can set a trust up, you can set something up to where the kid don't get the money to 18. You know, don't want the mom to spend the money, or if the mom need the money, she have her own separate account to where she has her money, the kid has their money, or kids, to the point where, no fuss, no fight, no argue. I done seen families break up over money. I done seen families, will deal all this over money. So for the most part, literally having an understanding that, you know, being a provider, and I always say this, man, and I said it earlier, for me having $500,000 in life insurance, I honestly think that that's not enough. Due to inflation, even $1 million in my opinion won't even be enough. My boys, they're able to get a house. The way the housing market right now is, a decent home run you about 250 to 300,000. I got 4 kids. My daughter already has a house. My son, in the process, college and working, but he don't have a house. So therefore, I have 3 kids that need a house at almost $300,000 a pop. That's already 900,000. Then you turn around, my wife, the house we live in is not paid off, so that has to get paid off. I'm already looking at 1.2 million right there, and then I'm not going to do anything for my daughter, so I have to leave her some too as well. That's another let's just say 200 on top, let's say 3 on top of that. It's 1.5. 1.5 already. And then to the extent, if they get a home, am I going to be able to leave them some money? Because if they get the home, they can maintain, the utilities if they get a basic job. But what if they want to work for themselves? What if they don't even have a car? On average, a decent car is about, 60,000. If you get a truck, get a nice, not even just a Lexus, but a Toyota or something nice that's durable. That's what? Four, I'm sorry, let's see, four, five, because of my wife. Five. That's 6 times 5. That's another 300,000 right there. So now I'm at 1.8. What if they want to start a business? That's at least about 100,000 a piece for 4 kids and a wife. So that's 500,000. Eight, and I'm looking at 2.3 now. 2.3 million. See, the number steady going up. You know, that's 100,000 to start a business. Even if they don't want to start a business, that's still 100,000 to pay bills, get a job, get things structured. 60,000 a piece for each of them to have a car. And if they have family, not even thinking about if they have kids, that I got to help my grandkids. You know, I was looking at McRomney set aside $197 million for his, I think, 7 kids and 15 sole grandkids in a trust. $197 million. Told you when the guy was running for president, he had like close to, I think it was almost 400 million in life insurance. And they were basically, asking him why did he have so much, and he was like, "Why not? I'm not. I can't set money aside to take care of my family after my death." You know, and I honestly respected that. That's one of the things I want to do is actually have enough money set aside so I can honestly protect my family. You know, really. And when it come down to it, it's just a lot of situations. Having that money set aside for your kids. Like I said earlier, it's not just for men, it's for women too. You know, if you're single and you're a single parent and they even just have kids, you're just by yourself, you still need that life insurance. Who's gonna bury you? Like I said, I know this is Father's Day. I'm having to talk with the fellas about life insurance, but to the women that, they need it as well. You know, when it comes down to it, if something happened to you, who's gonna bury you? You know, I had a friend, I was talking with him. He said that, when it comes down to it, he don't have kids, so why get life insurance? I said, why not? He was like, well, I said, no, 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 no. If you die right now, how are you gonna get buried? He's like, well, my mom, I said, so you mean to tell me the older state that your mom is in, you're gonna have her bury you, take her pennies that she have right now, say the least, and bury you? I'm like, come on now. When it comes down to it, we got to do the numbers. We're gonna take our elderly parents and make them bury us with their money, not with our money, because most of the time, like I said, if you have a life insurance and they don't know, it's locked up somewhere. You just paying for no reason until that money runs out of that bank. That's when the policy will cancel. But when it comes down to it, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, a lot of us, we don't have structure of things in order. That's the whole thing is prepping now, preparing now. You know, that's one of the biggest things. Taking money, putting it in a policy that can roll over to the wife and kids, or that can just roll over to the kids, or the wife have money that can roll over to the husband. You know, and it's funny, like my wife, she has life insurance. Her life insurance is nearly as much as mine. And like I told her, I said, I'm gonna be okay. I said, this little money is just gonna be a cushion to, help me solidify some things I need to take care of. Because, I'm going to be in my grieving moment to where I know life still goes on, but at least, I can take a break, at least 2 weeks out of, that time where I can take a break and kind of, get myself together. I'm still going to be moving around and doing things, but, it's to the point where I don't want to carry it on my shoulder to, for me to go ahead and just say, I'm just going to tough it out and go to work the next day. Cause I do that. I did it with my grandparents and stuff like that. And just life went on. Life literally went on to a point where, like I say, man, we got to have these situations being taken care of thoroughly. We got to talk to family members. We got to talk to friends. Like, not having a situation where you're prepared. Like I said, if you're a father, you should have that life insurance. You should have it in your kid's name to the point where anything, your kid is taken care of. That's the number one thing is, a father, you want to make sure that your kids are set up and provided for. Same thing with your wife. You have a good wife, she's sacrificing her. They shout out to Gold Professor where he says your time and energy. A lot of people take that for granted. Time and energy is a lot. And, like I said, to literally have it to the point where if something happens to you, your kids got to move out the house. They got to move out the area. They got to get rid of the car. Hope the mom don't stress out too much to where, sometimes like that, losing that significant other, it'll drive you to a depression. And most people don't take depression serious until it really happens to them. I've known people that went through depression and, death come a knocking at every single turn and corner. And that person got to be strong, have strong people around them to get over that. I personally know a guy that I was, talking with, and if I wasn't around there joking with him, messing with him, calling this guy like every other day, he told me he was done for. He had already planned things out to, just go ahead and check out. And I was like, man, I didn't know that. But, we talked about it, and like, the biggest thing that we always, focused on was, man, just do better. Try every day. Try, do better. And that's where the point where a lot of people don't have that balance of nobody who they can talk to, man. It's random strangers that, just came up to me and we had conversations and, had some things in life, man, that just really put me into a mode. Sorry about that. I'm texting somebody. But, when it comes down to it, that's why I keep saying, getting that life insurance, man, it helps with the family. It helps with the structure. A lot of people take it for granted. I got a cousin right now. He's in jail. Got a cousin right now. He in jail. But the thing of it is, he already has his life insurance. He had his life insurance set up before he went to jail. Just had a kid before he went to jail. Anything ever happened to him? His kid is set up nice. Is got life insurance. His mom was a responsible one, and she, encouraged him to get it. Same thing that I was telling my wife that I was gonna do for my boys. They get it young, and it grows with him. When he got a little older, she just got him a different policy because some of those Gerber policies, you unless you change the the rates and everything, you grow out of those policies. You need to an extent, but when it comes down to it, I keep like I said, homing in on this. Getting that life insurance for your family, or not just for family, but for you, for a structure for yourself. You need that, you know. And a lot of us fail to realize that until the very end. We have our situations in life to where we really, 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 really don't understand things until it's too late. And when it's too late, that's the biggest problem. You know, getting life insurance now is not going to hurt, you know, and a lot of people should understand this due to C-19, you know, people passing left and right. This some scary stuff that's going on out here. And, not taking it serious have big effects on people, you know. So that's why, I keep, kind of homing in to tell people and getting them prepared, man. It's not really a easy thing. Not really easy thing. It's not really an easy thing. And for everybody to have an understanding that, where's your focus at, that speaks volume. You know, when it comes down to it, we got to start preparing for the future. We got to have situations being taken care of. And like I said, this is only right with us being fathers on Father's Day, is having our affairs in order. You know, having our affairs in order is the key. You know, if anything happened to me, like I said, my wife will be taken care of. Anything happened to my wife, kids be taken care of. Because we talk about this. We sit down, we have our talks about life, we have our talks about business, we have our talks about finance. You got to talk about this stuff. It's out in the open, not just to sit here and say, well, if something happens, hopefully it'll be for the best. No, my wife already knows the structure. If anything happens to me, she don't have to move. If possible, she can take a year off and still be okay. House will get paid off. A couple of bills get paid off around the house. She can sit, vacate, or do whatever for a whole year, or probably even more than that. Because once she gets that full amount of money, she already knows my whole goal about that. Even with me, I already have this whole plan about my life insurance. By the time I get at least close to 60, I'm snatching out, if not a quarter of it, and going to buy some apartment complex or find some land and build me some units. That's my retirement plan. I got a guy I talk to right now. This guy has about about 8 houses in St. Thomas that he rents out over the ocean, you know. And I want to get him on here to, do a chop up or interview, but I mean, I don't think he wants to talk. Is some people just don't want to deal with social media, and some people just don't want a lot of their business out in public like that. And I'm not mad at them, you know. But to an extent, it's like you start seeing the beauty of life when you're, not worrying about money. And even in the home that he has here in Georgia, me and him talk about, he called at the Wisconsin house because it almost broke him. But I'm like, could you say you really broke, man? But it's the thing. Like he spent the most on his home here because and he don't even stay here. That's why I'm like, he could have got a smaller home. He could have, he had. I'm just gonna say the least. He had a high rise that was nice, but due to C-19, he just thought it wasn't, better for him and his wife to actually stay there with a lot of people not taking it serious. So he moved into his own home, and that was going to be his retirement. He had homes before, but the kids were grown, so he ended up getting rid of the homes and got that. But like I said, preparing for the future. My wife knows if anything happens to me, she better go get some rental properties. She better go get some rental properties. I already told her. I told my son. I told them if I leave them money, make sure you get some rental properties. I always talk about the market and the housing market, the way the houses are going up. Literally, I keep referring back to this, and I'm still kicking myself in the butt right now about this. I used to rent an apartment over in Tucker, Georgia, not far from where I'm at. In Tucker, I think before I left, I think it was what, about 750, almost $800 when we first moved there. We only there for like 3 years, and then end up moving to Snellville, got a house. But in those apartments, I was paying $975 my last year there, and end up getting a house out in Snellville. Coming back into the city, you know, in that Tucker area, the market was just too expensive. So I ended up going over there and looking at Tucker. I was like, man, I wonder how much those apartments are now that I used to stay in. Same name and everything. A lot of times apartment change due to the, badness of it and all that, but still remained the same. So I checked it out. $1,800 for a 3 bedroom. I think it was like what was it, last year, end of last year, beginning of this year. I checked it out. $1,800 for a 3 bedroom. I was paying like nine for a 3 bedroom. And that was probably close to like what, 10, 12 years ago. So I was telling my wife, I was like, just imagine if we would have bought a house over there and we could be renting that house out when we left and went to Snellville. But hey, that's why I keep telling my wife the money is gonna be in the market, the housing market. I was on Women in Linux, and they're talking about a lot of computers and programming and courses and everything as far as getting into tech. And shout out to those ladies over there. Every time I go on their channel, they, know, pretty nice, decent conversations, and not just mainly centered around the computer program, just about money aspect and how to maintain and how to to a point as move around with the money and level to a degree. And they were having a conversation about having an extra $375,000. What would you do with it? And my first thing was buying rental properties and renting out cars. And she was laughing because she was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher. I forgot her name, so I won't keep saying she. But basically, we was having a conversation to where you won't take the money and put it in those stocks. I'm like, nah, the stocks go up and down. I'm like, I'd rather put it into something that I know is going to give me a big return each year and go from there. Yeah, Tucker's a nice area. Tucker, Georgia is a nice area. It's still part of Decatur, but yeah, it's a nice area. Well, DeKalb. But yeah, and the crazy part, they was laughing because I didn't want to invest in stock. I'm like, I'm kind of over the stock wave. I'm kind of over the crypto wave. I'm like, to a point, in my opinion, is more like a get rich quick scheme. And you put your money in there. It's like playing the casino. You put your money in there, you hope for the best. You know, but when you're going into the market with real estate, you're not putting money in there hoping for the best. You're putting money in there, you're getting results instantly. I mean, honestly speaking. And the best way to have generational wealth is life insurance and investing in homes. You know, if I actually was doing a research on a property, yep. Um, mm, okay, I got you. I work through. I work through a couple more hours. So I work through a couple more minutes. But having a situation to where when I was talking with my family, that sound like about the properties and stuff like that. So when it come down to it, you know, buying the homes, to me, it just is more of an upside. I'm not really seriously taking a loss because anytime I invest in that property and I'm getting ready to sell, I'm gonna always see a return on it. You know, and there are people who do the Bird method, and I talked about that on my channel. You know, where you buy the house, rehab, renovate, and all this, and rent it out. That's more long term game to where you see big, financial gains going into it. And then there are a lot of people who are just flippers who will take a house, buy it for 50, put, depending on how bad it is, put another 50 in there and make 180 off of it. I mean, end up selling it for 180 and, literally make 80,000 on $100,000 investment. No problem. And they literally make 80,000 on $100,000 investment. No use having a long day, Miss V. I heard about you was moving around yesterday, wedding and family in town. But yeah, that investment is long term. Until I decide to sell. And that's like one of the biggest things that I be talking about with that. Like I said, if I get my life insurance, one of my biggest things is having those revolving doors that I can sink money into and come out swimming in money later on. you know. And that's one of the biggest things I talk to in this group that I'm in. And I'll be talking to a lot of guys. Our focus is on doors and focuses on the market, but mainly, like I was saying, that real estate gains are real good, and a lot of people, start doing their homework, just saving money and investing all over time. It pays off. I mean, literally, it does. And uh, my thumbnail, that's my Father's Day shirt I had got for myself and everything. But when it comes down to it, my whole thing is life is good and it's all about what you make it, man. You got to keep moving, keep staying strong. And, that's why I say put things in perspective for my family. That's why I'm getting that life insurance set up. That's why I'm making sure I'm contributing into that. So, down the line, I can sit up there and enjoy the fruits of my labor, you know? And that's one of the biggest things I keep telling people. Get life insurance. Focus on that life insurance. And like I say, when I get older, I'm taking that life insurance and I'm putting it in the market. I'm doing my investments now, trying to get into different crowdfundings and everything with the money I have. Like I said, I'm not no big guru making tons of money, but the point of it is the money I do have, I'm trying to, put it into a vehicle and make it work. You know, Instead of putting in the savings, and to a degree, I have little savings here and there, but mostly I'm trying to invest it into something that I can see big returns on. Even a minimum return is better than just putting in the savings account and not doing anything with it. So, that's why I encourage people to get life insurance. Focus on the life insurance. Literally focus on the life insurance. And shout out to everybody that's coming into the chat. Like I say, a lot of times I don't really start reading off people's names and stuff like that. But when it come down to it, I'm gonna take this time and get everybody to drop their links in here. Ms. V does this a lot, and I think this encouraging, with me also being that I like sharing people channels and stuff like that, and everybody literally just getting everybody set up, trying to make sure everybody had a wrench. But yeah, drop your links. Drop your links in the channel. And like I said, people go sub the People channel, check them out. And, I keep saying, I'm not even going to say it. But when it come down to it, man, a lot of people just got to prepare for the future. And, with it being Father's Day, it's only right that I try to keep pushing this discussion about us, preparing ourselves with life insurance. Me being a father, wanting the best for my kids, that's what I need to be doing. Focusing in on what's the best for my kids, what are going to be the best options for me, how I'm going to influence them, and that's through life insurance. We have our situations, we have, problems. Overall, we need to be there for one another. And that's one of the ways I'm gonna be there for my family after the fact. It's through that life insurance. Go ahead and pull up something. And also, preparing for the future. A lot of us, we had these situations in our life where, we take things for granted until we really actually need things put in perspective. And so that's why I say all the time with people, focusing on the future and getting things prepared, that life insurance is the key. And a lot of us go through this and we don't, really have an understanding of what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do, how we're gonna prepare things, And the biggest things about, just me in general is focusing on, the money aspect. And oh snap, Dr. Dunbar is actually gonna be on it. At 10:10. Oh no, I might play a little Dr. Dunbar's video on my channel. But when it come down to it, a lot of us having situations, a lot of us having things that we need to go through in life, we need somebody to talk to. And that's one of the biggest things why, I focus in on a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of people working with each other, a lot of people doing the right thing, to actually protecting and providing for each other. So when it come down to it, I just 12. But when it come down to it, we got to have an understanding of, what we doing as a whole in general. A lot of us, we really don't put too much focus in on things until it actually happen. And that mainly sometimes be our downfall, you know, because we so focused on trying to, do the right thing and be there for our family. As men, we tend to lose traction into the outcome of things we wish to be. And that's putting a, bigger damper on us as well. So, we tend to have situations in our life we need to go through, and we kind of face these situations all on our own. All right, there we go, right there. Let's go ahead and add. There we go. All right, so we good. Had to mute that up right there. But when it come down to it, like I was saying, go ahead and highlight some people up. All right. So basically, the biggest situation right now, with it being Father's Day, focusing on fathers, you know, for the love of us, what are we doing to, help situations for fathers? Guys being able to work with each other, you know, guys being able to help one another out, focus on situations at hand. That's the biggest key. When it comes down to it, men helping men, I always say this: a woman can actually raise a boy to become a man, but it takes a man to make a man. You know, you need certain, situations from a man that you can't get from a woman. And I use this example. My uncle, he worked night shift, and he literally taught my cousin, which is a girl, how to pee, use the potty. He just took her, put her in the bathroom, showed her how to sit down, and pull down your clothes and pee, like to a point you just sit on the toilet and you pull his pants to his knees and show her you got to pull your clothes down and pee. She learned how to do that easily. It took her long enough to kind of keep trying to focus what he doing, but he taught her how to pee. Then when it came to the structure of, you know, dealing with his wife, she literally to a point couldn't even really teach her son. She literally had to show him how to hold himself, but it's like the visual is better than just actually telling me, and seeing it is believing. you know and I remember the first time I was teaching my boys how to use the bathroom, and they was looking at me crazy because they would always just pee in the pamper, and it was an amazing thing for them just to see me to go to the toilet and pee. They was like, what in the world? you know and I was like, you can do it too. And to a point, they really grasped the concept. They would try to use the bathroom. I would show them, and after a while, they got it. I'm like, it was easy, you know. Just seeing me doing it so many times, and then I tell them, if you got to go to the potty, because kids, you tell them you got a potty, you got a potty, you got a pee pee, and over time they just got it real easy, no problem. The moment they started really walking, they was actually trying to use the potty. And it was not even a hard task dealing with them, showing them how to pee. They grasped the concept real easy. And just the boo-booing part, they had to get down pat. They had to wipe their butt properly. But yeah, it was crazy, man. But in that's what I was saying. When it come down to men, and like I said, I always push this, that it can't literally. And I say literally, it's just right to the point where men, one man can show a young boy how to live to an extent his way of being a man. But men, you have a multitude of guys showing you things that you can grasp the concept of it better, way better. And that's my biggest thing. When it come down to the men having that structure, showing the young men how to do things, that's like biggest key that I be trying to get people on. And that's my biggest key that I be trying to get these guys, on. That men deal with men, and we have structures in life. The structures that we have in life, you know, it come from a whole bunch of men showing us how to properly do things the right way. If I only learn from my dad, I'm gonna be my dad's son, but I'm only gonna take heed to certain things that he tell me. And outside of that, I'm not gonna know nothing. That's why I said men. You got to be plural about it. Not one man he can raise a young man, but he won't give him the core values of life in all its glory, because he needs to have that structure for men around him. I have my son around their uncles, uh older men telling them stuff, being respectful. They know how to say yes sir, no ma'am, all, you know, they do that. So when it come down to it, a lot of older people impressed because not many young people carry those values like that, you know. And so that's one of the, biggest things that a lot of, older people say that they don't see that no more. They don't see that, a lot of these young guys, being to the point where they're saying, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. That structure is not there anymore. The focusing on that, you know. So I want to actually drop something in, and I'm actually looking for it now. I should have went on my page and pulled it up and then showed it, but I'm actually on somebody's page now looking for this. Yeah, I mean, considering the fact of the matter is a lot of people, like I said, going back into it, focusing in on Father's Day, having a situation where you're prepared, having a situation where you're prepared, you know, having that life insurance, having that balance to where if anything ever happens to you, your kids will be taken care of. Your wife will be taken care of. You know, when it comes down to it, where's the structure in the family if, you know, you literally don't pick up on being a provider is not only just for the aspect of, giving money now, it's having a structure in the afterlife. If anything were to happen to you, how are your kids going to survive? If anything were to happen to you, how is the family going to live? You know, like what are the like biggest structures in planning for the future? What is the biggest structures in planning for, anything? A lot of people take that stuff for granted until you actually really have to do the numbers. And shout out to Alonzo again. One of his family members came on a panel one time, and we was talking, and he's a part of the part of the what is it? I'm sorry, I'm having a brain freeze. I won't even say the name because I just had a brain freeze on it. But basically, when it comes down to it, what had happened when he was in that situation of him, getting shot? The first thing he thought about was his kids. That was his literal thing. The first thing he thought about was his kids. You know, like what's gonna happen to the kids? If I die right now and I'm the provider, I'm the sole provider of my family, how's my family gonna live? You know, the situation with Alonzo when he was talking about that, at one point, he was saying how the guy who owned a magazine company up in Detroit ended up, you know, trying to get him to get life insurance. He didn't get it. 2 years later, he ended up passing, and they ended up having a GoFundMe account set up for him through up under his daughter. And if only he would have got that life insurance, his daughter would have been paired. You know, they wouldn't have to have a GoFundMe account. And when it comes down to it, you have these situations and these struggles in life to which, like, man, what's gonna happen if I do pass? You know, who's gonna be there for my kids? How is this thing gonna work? And a lot of people don't have that sensible structure in play to where if anything ever happens, how are they going to be benefit? How the kids are going to be benefit? How the mother of your kid, in essential to a point. Some people get put on the street. If you're not prepared, especially as men, we say we are the protectors and providers, but if something happens to, you know, you, what's the benefits for your kids? If something happens, you can literally get to a point to where they have life insurance. Let's say you don't die. Let's say you get into a horrible accident, and you have to live like this. How's that gonna affect your family when you're the breadwinner? How's that gonna affect your family when you're the person that, pretty much, like they say, bring home the bacon, you know? And, it comes to a point to where, like I say, not really hitting the men over the head on Father's Day, but, being prepared, putting that money aside for the family, because long term it has an effect. Literally long term it has an effect on the family. So having that situation you put yourself in, is only right that you actually, like I said, be prepared for that with your family. Having things in play to where if anything do happen, hey, you have the insurance that's there. You also have the know-how because you speak about this with your wife and kids. You don't just sit here and say, I'm gonna get this life insurance. And like I told you before, the guy who had the life insurance, almost 3.4 million, end up taking 3.4 million in less than a year and a half. He was broke. He had the cars and stuff, but what good is that car when you sitting up here and you can't do nothing with it because you're gonna end up having to sell that car. That's the crazy part. Literally have to end up selling the car and going back to a regular lifestyle when you literally had, large sum of money. You can actually change your life, change the people around you, and you took it for granted and just threw it all in the trash. That's the biggest thing that now I try to focus on and talk to people about is that mainly. You know, some people have life insurance that can actually change not only their lives, but their kids' lives, and they blow it. So it comes down to that point to say, man, like, what are we actually going to do? Like, what are the situations we going to take into doing better, being better, helping the community, helping the kids, how? We go through situations all the time. And like I say, the biggest aspect, who's there for us? How are we going to make this work? So like I said, when it comes down to it, life insurance is one of the key things that I'm trying to push and tell a lot of people to get into that can actually help their families. It help the situations in life to where if anything you pass, your family be taken care of. That's one of the key things that we talk about, right? Is having men be responsible for the kids, having men, solely having a situation to where we focus in on protecting the family at all costs, having situations to where we can do things for the greater good, right? You know, and that's one of the things that I try to keep in the play and stay focused with people is to if a situation happens, are you prepared for it? You know, how are we gonna help the next generation? That's one of my main focus that I try to talk about, helping the next generation. Because our kids gonna need us. So how are we going to prepare our kids for the next generation? I'm going to actually get ready to try to play this clip. Hold on right quick. Let me see if I can get it to go. Yeah, that was the wrong one. Sorry about that. Okay, I think I got it. Yeah, let's see if this is the right clip. No, it's not the right one either. Okay, but let me go ahead and try to find this. Let me mute this. I won't be doubling. All right, there we go. All right. I think I'm gonna have to do this the old fashioned way, look through the videos. But yeah, when it comes down to it, man, structure, relationship, the biggest aspect, man, I'm trying to get from all this is like I said, for Father's Day, man, we all be prepared. You know, we have a situation to where, we focus on the family. We have the family set up. We have ourselves set up because, like I said, not only is this life insurance is gonna, yeah. I mean, that's my biggest thing, man. I've always been a promoter of other people's channel and trying to get them focusing on, you know, providing content that's, actually genuine and helps, situations. So it's only right that I try to, help people, with their channels and stuff as well. So when it comes down to it, I only, trying to promote people best as I can. It's up to you if, you deal with people content or not. I'm only the a person is, making the connect, the plug, as they say, to, get people invested in channels and get people to come over and see, because when it come down to it, hey, it's literally up to you. You know, the person that's, in there looking, if they deem it, they want to go ahead and look at that channel and, deal with that channel, cool. If not, hey, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But my whole thing is to open the door, let you see in there and see how it looks, and see if it's a good thing for you. I think is this is the video right here that I'm looking at. Okay, all right. So I'm actually gonna go to share, and no, Lonzo ain't gonna, you know, be salty with me playing his video. And I think I might just end up playing the audio instead of the video and all the whole thing.
is in.
Because
Lastly, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. And now, here's our next feature. Salute, 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 salute. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor, Alonzo Hall, and I've returned today to whap and tap on your head with another ADH wealth solution. Today's article, what is whole life insurance and how does it work? An article from money.com. Before we go in, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth, to purchase life insurance directly up to $1 million with an instant decision and no medical exam, or to schedule a one-on-one appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description. So as we proceed to give you what you need, again, this is a common question that I get all the time. What's the difference between term and whole life? Again, term would be renting, permanent would be buying. So if you're leasing a car, that's term life insurance. Once that lease is done, you don't get to keep the car, you got to give it back. Well, technically, you could keep the car, but you got to pay a bunch of money. And if you're financing or purchasing the car, once the payment is done, that's it. You're done paying for it, but you own the car, so you keep the car. So term life insurance would be renting the car. Permanent life insurance would be financing or purchasing the car. So whole life insurance is a permanent life insurance policy that guarantees a fixed death benefit for the beneficiaries and a cash value savings component for the policyholder. So, how does whole life insurance work? Whole life insurance works as a permanent policy that builds cash value over time. As long as the premiums are current, the policy remains active for the entire life of the policyholder, and the beneficiaries will receive a set death benefit upon the insured's death. The insured pays fixed level premiums, which are allotted between several portions. Partial funding for the policy's face value, i.e., the death benefit, the insurer's operating costs, which is the cost of insuring you, and profits, and then contributions to the cash value account. So what does whole life insurance cover? One is a death benefit. Your beneficiaries are entitled to receive a tax-free lump sum death benefit at the moment of your passing. There are no use restrictions. A death benefit payout can cover costs associated with your death, estate planning, burial, funeral, and debt settlements. The amount doesn't change during the policyholder's lifetime. But if there are unsettled cash value loans after their death, the debt is deducted from the death benefit. The policy can expire at its maturity date when the insured reaches age 100 or 120. What happens next varies. Generally, you'll do what's called that's called endowing, and they'll just send you a check for the cash value. Generally, some companies pay out the cash value and close the policy. Others grant policy extensions or nothing at all. The minimum coverage amount is usually $100,000, but many policies cover $1 million or more. Cash value, a living benefit that works as a safe investment and savings account that the insured can access throughout their lifetime. The cash value amount is guaranteed, meaning that the insurer pledges to uphold a minimum interest rate. Funded with a portion of the premium payments, the amount earns interest and builds cash value on a tax-free basis. So, insurance riders enhance the coverage and modify the terms of the policy. For example, you can work around a policy's maturity date by purchasing a maturity extension rider, or access the death benefit while still living by adding an accelerated death benefit rider. Eligibility. Eligibility is determined by age, gender, employment information, medical history, and lifestyle. Insurers require a medical exam. But if you'd rather skip this step, some companies do offer a no exam life insurance alternative to the traditional underwriting process. What is the cash value of a whole life insurance policy? Most people buy cash value life insurance to build tax deferred earnings. This living benefit works like a low risk investment account, providing an extra source of income for retirement, college tuition, or emergency funding. There are, however, other options that might serve a similar purpose, such as an annuity. A cash value account grows so slowly but with guaranteed rates, regardless of market fluctuations. It earns interest on a tax free basis as you continue making payments. It grows faster during the first years of the policy, but it does slow down as you age since the cost of insuring you demands a larger portion of your premiums. It stays with the insurance company when the policyholder dies, unless the policy included a rider that states otherwise. Now, there are four ways that you can access your cash value earnings. One is policy loans. A policy loan is a tax-free and less restricted than other types of loans. The insurance company lends the money and sets up a flexible repayment plan which with low interest rates. Your cash value earnings serve as collateral. Withdrawals. Policyholders can withdraw directly from the cash value with partial cash surrenders. These are final and can reduce the death benefit payout. Withdrawals are taxable if they've exceeded the cumulative amount you've paid in premiums, and withdrawing the full cash value amount triggers a policy lapse. Surrendering the policy. Surrendering a policy cancels it and nullifies the death benefit. You will, however, receive the cash surrender value, whatever cash value is left after surrender charges and fees. Any cash surrender value that exceeds what you've paid in as premiums is taxable. Using it to make premium payments. You can use the cash value to cover monthly premiums and stop making payments out of pocket. It will take several years of high premium payments before this is possible, and if you empty the cash value account, the policy can lapse. Dividend paying whole life insurance policy. A participating whole life insurance policy can earn dividends on top of the guaranteed cash value and death benefit. If and when the insurance company generates a surplus of profit, policyholders receive dividends as partial refund of premium payments. They may use these earnings in several ways: as cash or check payout, as contributions to cash value account, or to make advanced premium payments. They can also use it to purchase additional life insurance coverage. Before borrowing from your cash value account, remember, mismanaged cash value loans can lapse your policy, nullify tax-exempt status, and reduce the death benefit. Withdrawals and loans that exceed the cash value amount will be subject to taxation. Withdrawals and outstanding cash value loans will reduce the death benefit payout to your beneficiaries. Policy loans and withdrawals increase the risk of policy lapsing. Due to its low annual growth rate, it can take up to 10 years to build up enough funds before you can actually borrow. So I'm going to skip over the pros and cons and how to buy insurance. You want to figure out how to buy insurance, you sit with a licensed financial professional named Alonzo Hall, and I'll help you. Other than that, we're going to look at people who benefit from whole life insurance. Whole life insurance works for people that want long-term protection and can afford the higher premium rates. One would be parents, to ensure your children's financial well-being. Things like funding education, build a trust for children with special needs, and etc. Couples, to cover daily and future living expenses such as mortgage payments or for a spouse or a partner. Older adults, to cover financial obligations, funeral costs, final expenses, and supplemental social security income. Business owners, to ensure the operation of a business after the owner's death or to cover debt-related operations, especially if it's backed by assets like a family home or the family needs to buy out a partner. People who need estate planning, to help your loved ones cover estate taxes, assets management, and other death-related expenses in the case of the policy owner's unexpected or accidental death. Businesses that need to insure a key employee, buffer any financial setbacks after the loss of an essential employee. And now we'll look at people who don't benefit from whole life insurance. Life insurance is a welcome safety net for anyone, but purchasing a whole life policy may not always be the best choice for people in average income brackets. Expensive premiums are not compatible with average wages. People who work, have dependents, large mortgages, and other debts are best served by term life insurance. That's, again, you're literally just telling your family, I plan on dying so you can get this bulk of money. If you don't plan on dying in 19 years if you have a 20-year term, or 29 years if you have a 30-year term, technically you've wasted your money. Older adults who need to boost their retirement. Older adults should look for the best life insurance for seniors, which is a whole life policy, before considering a whole life policy. The cash value will grow at a very slow rate, and you will pay extremely high premiums without seeing much returns. So pause really quickly. Those Colonial Penn commercials, those are whole life insurance too, which is why it's very difficult when people speak against whole life insurance, because they're talking about policies like that. And lastly, buyers looking for investment opportunities. Focus on maxing out your 401k and IRA contributions before considering a whole life insurance policy for investing benefits. A policy's cash value earnings resemble money in a savings account. Tax-free, secure, and stable, but won't earn impressive rates. That's untrue if you get like an index universal life. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's article. Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always,
Just quick sidebar. I said that earlier. If you get an index universal life insurance, it's better than the 401k, but I'll let you be the judge of that.
share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth, to purchase life insurance directly up to $1 million with an instant decision and no medical exam, or to schedule a one-on-one appointment with a licensed financial professional, my links are in the description. With that being said, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Salute. Hey folks, this last video was sponsored by my company, where we help people like you to reach their financial goals. We do this through a simple conversation where we help to identify and then protect your lifestyle. And then we implement a plan. The process starts at about an hour. So, if you want more information or you want to schedule a consult, contact me via the information in the description box. And let's talk and see if we're actually a great fit for each other. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Thank you, and enjoy life.
Yep. Let me go ahead and pause this video before they play somebody else. All right. So we back to it. I'm back to it. Let me go ahead and stop that. All right. Yeah, like I said, going into the information, it's key. Knowing what you getting yourself into, weighing your options, seeing what's the best fit for you. A lot of us, far as getting into the field, don't really technically know too much. So we have to take everything for face value until we actually learn. And that's one of the biggest things I try to focus in on is getting people the information, letting them learn. Shout out to Alonzo. And let me go ahead and big up some more real quick. when it comes down to it, I mean, plain and simple, man. Just knowing, what you're getting yourself into. And we go right here. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Hey, this when it comes down to it, I try to give people the information. You know, I big up Dr. Dunbar. I'm actually going to go to his channel and briefly show a little bit from him right now because he's live. But just want to go ahead and show this real quick. You know, this is Alonzo's site, CG Wealth Solutions, and look at the different benefits that he's offering. On the site. It's plain and simple. Putting your information in and kind of figuring out what you want to do. What are you trying to invest in? You know, you want to deal with the aspect of, in, individuals or families, you know, once again, put in the information. I mean, it's basically solely up to you what you want to try to do as far as, how you want to figure things out business wise too. So, like I said, it's all up to you. When you're trying to actually make a good fit, the key things you need to focus in on, like I said, it's basically up to you, you know. And let's see. Okay. A lot of us, due to situations, honestly speaking, you just don't know. You just don't know. So if you don't know, it's not a hindrance. You just don't know. So to the point where, you actually have some situations where people can help you out, that's the key, you know. And like I said, I'm about to go ahead and show Dr. Dunbar's page right now and just, drop a little gem from him. Then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. For the people that are, in the chat, thank you for coming. Hitting that like button, share, do whatever. It's up to you. But the point of it is, you're here trying to listen to some of this good content. We can deal with the back and forths all the time, but this is the key. And like I said, shout out to Dr. Dunbar. Big Discussion 76. See it right here. And for those that don't know, he has a newsletter. So people you might want to grasp and get onto that right there. But let's go on to the first video. Oh, I had to type it again. Oh, let me go back and show you guys this as well. These are his other channels. He mostly focuses on his science and technology. But the movie channel is not really, at a large number, but all his other channels have gone ahead and hit the 1,000 mark. And the basis of it is just for him to get his watch hours up. So shout out to him for everybody that want to come through and look at his videos to help him with his watch hours. And like I said, once again, this is Dr. Dunbar.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I promise this is going to be a short stream. I was debating in my mind whether or not to even do this. I attended Pharrell Williams Something in the Water Festival last night in DC, and getting ready to head back north to Buffalo. And it's Father's Day. And I decided to just go with it. This is This is my channel. This is my art. I'm sorry. This is my channel, and this is my art. And you know, shout out to Ron Wills. He said you should push your art, and you should really express yourself and put your stuff out there. So I have a short.
Basically, I'm just gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna let people go and sub to his channel. You know, Dr. Dunbar, I always talk about his channel respectfully. You know, him being a scientist, and actually, you know, got to give him a thumbs up. I always make sure I do that, and to put a comment in the chat. And everybody who knows me knows my tagline. We are here, provide, you know, some information to let people know you're here, you're responding to the video, you've seen it. I'm actually gonna probably end this in probably about 5 minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and watch the video. But actually, I'll probably just leave this up right here for now. And, you know, like I said, let people go over there and check his channel out. You know, let's see. And go over to the newsletter. Uh-oh. What is this? And for those that don't know, that Dr. Dunbar is actually a writer. And so therefore I kind of promote him as well, you know, and he's writing the book. And you can get over there and see what the book is about, the information. That's why I say go seek the knowledge. That's one of my biggest things that I try to encourage people. Don't take anything that I say for face value. Don't look at the videos I'm telling you is wholly being the truth. Go out there and do the information. A lot of people do not really actually put in the work, and that's the biggest key of actually putting in the work, going out here, putting in the information, looking and trying to, do things to the extent of, is it helpful for me? Is it hindrance? Does it hurt me? Do the work. A lot of people are not doing the work right now. And that's like one of the biggest things that I try to promote and try to get people to understand about doing the work. Got a call. Sorry about that. But basically, like I said, a lot of people got to put in the work. You know, it starts with you. You need to be putting in the work with yourself. Uh, Shout out to I'm sorry. Let me see. Can I put this up here? But shout out to Gold Professor. Talk about those 9 laws of self-government. And the key with a lot of people focusing in on things and having an understanding of what's going on around them and what they are, what they're doing, you know. And that plays a big part. What is this? What is this? My wife got up. All right. So in general, a lot of people got to have that understanding of what they're doing in life. What are they focusing on? How things are, how things are going to be. What is the next option? What is the next move? We got to literally focusing in on stuff like that. Oh, I think I know what I did. I think that notepad is actually on my tablet. And I actually didn't do it over here on the computer. I did it on my tab. I don't think I saved it, so therefore it's not going to be up here on this. I was going to show those 9 laws of self-government. Okay, there we go. I go to 9 laws right here. Let me go ahead and pull them up so we'll have them on the page. There. All right. When it come down to it, like I said, I'm about to get ready to end this. But shout out to everybody that came through, and you know, shout out to everybody that fell through. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm about to get ready to end this. Um, Now I've been on for almost 2 hours now, but just basically trying to, work with some things. There we go. The 9 laws of self-govern. Shout out to Gold Professor for rendering this. Let's see, right? Nope. And basically, these are the keys, man. Shout out to everybody that's coming through. Like I said, I'm about to get ready to end this, but like I said, shout out to the people. The 9 laws of self-govern. You know, I might even do a stream on this later, talking about this to kind of get people informed and working with. But this is the key thing: focusing in on yourself. Having the discipline. To do the right things, do the necessary things, and the key to life. So, like I said, I'm about to get ready to end this. And for everybody that's coming through and everything on the replay, shout out to y'all. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me pull up the next person on the live-a-thon to get people up with that. And let me go to the moderators that have the list up. And we can go from there. Like I said, I'm about to get ready to end this. But, okay, so basically when it comes down to it, the slots are open. So I guess if Sheila Newman is going to provide somebody with the next person to come through up for the live-a-thon to get things running, and we'll go from there. And I might just end up just playing because we got till 12. We got another empty hour. So I might even do this. Might even scroll and keep going through. See if I can put something on loop and have everybody come through. But shout out to Sheila, Forever Lisa, and Dobie. And like always, I tell people we here and we gone. So till next time, make sure you check up with the live-a-thon. Sheila, Dobie, and Forever Lisa will keep you updated. Go in the community tab, check them out. They'll go ahead and show you who's next, who's up. And for anybody that want to join, reach out to them and they will, put you in rotation. And like I always say, till next time, we here and we gone.